Welcome to the week 9 and 10 video. I decided to take last week off because I was a little busy working and some other things. So here you go. This is a 2-week video instead. So I'm doing studs of the week. Adrian Peterson gets the first star here. Even though Doug Martin has had a couple of huge weeks before, that was week 8 and 9. He kind of fell short week 10. And I think Adrian Peterson has just been very consistent, and he put up more yards. An 8 YPC, and even though Doug Martin had an extra touchdown, I still think Adrian Peterson has been a little bit more impressive, considering Doug Martin has a beast of an offensive line. Adrian Peterson is truly becoming the running back that he was in the past, and is a top 3 running back for sure. Calvin Johnson, the top wide receiver, over 300 yards as well, 17 average and a touchdown. Brandon Marshall has been the #1 receiver for Jay Cutler and has been a huge fantasy option. 3 touchdowns as well. You look at Jimmy Graham as a tight end, he's putting up over 100 yards a game in the last 2 weeks, and he has a couple of touchdowns as well. I think that all of these guys have just been absolutely extraordinary, and if you have them, I wish I was you. Looking at some of the season deals, basically I think that this first deal isn't really much to talk about. It was just a couple of picks for running back and nothing huge there. The next deal was a fairly big blockbuster deal. I have to give the edge to Gold Standard on this one. I think that because he's out right now, whatever the case is with Maurice Jones-Drew right now isn't an issue. I think Blair Walsh did exactly what he needed to do. He got a tight end to replace Fred Davis, and he got a running back to replace Maurice Jones-Drew. So it's not a bad deal for him for the season. But I think overall, Gold Standard now has Adrian Peterson and Maurice Jones-Drew, 2 running backs that are the top 5 running backs in the NFL. And I think that overall, for that price, he got a great deal, considering he wasn't going to be keeping probably either of these guys. So I think that overall, he just traded two guys because he wasn't even making the playoffs. He traded them for a keeper running back. So I think both got something out of it, but I think overall, it depends on what you're looking at. But if you just look at the deal itself, I think that Gold Standard won that one. Gold Standard, again, was pretty active. He traded Reggie Wayne, and he got a pair of seconds and a 4th-round pick as well. He has Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Wallace, Maurice Jones-Drew, and Adrian Peterson. Really, he doesn't need Reggie Wayne. I mean, he's not going to keep Reggie Wayne over Mike Wallace because he's a Steelers fan. So I think getting these picks is huge because he had no picks before, and he would have been a horrid team next year. So getting a couple of seconds and another pick there gives him at least a little bit of depth for next year. The next deal here, I have to give this one to Rob. I think that getting Jordy Nelson is huge with Aaron Rodgers. Now he's basically hoarding Green Bay players more than Gold Standard was with Steelers guys. So Dawson is now lacking some Steelers guys in comparison to benchwarmers in Green Bay. I think that Ryan Matthews hasn't been performing like he was expected to when he first started his career. He's been an injury-prone guy, and he's not getting any red zone carries, kind of similar to LeSean McCoy. Brandon Lloyd as well. I think the fact that he did this deal and got picks on top of that is huge. I think Jordy Nelson is a huge receiver, a great fantasy option here, and he got picks on top of that. I don't think he's really lacking anything. The only thing that I think that Rob's going to find is that come next season, he has to hope that he's going to get some good running backs, because right now, having no running backs, I was having a difficult time with having running back as a keeper. Having none, you have to make sure that you draft running backs right now, because right now he has 3 guys that are Green Bay keepers. And I think that's, with Green Bay being so good, it is good in a sense, but I don't like having to rely on one team. But I think overall, in that sense, Beast Mode definitely got a decent deal out of it. He got youth, which is what he likes with Ryan Matthews, and he likes Brandon Lloyd, so it's not a horrid deal, but I think that he could have done it without the picks, I think. But bench warmers, I think, definitely got the deal on that one. Looking at power rankings, Dante obviously at the top still. I put Halababa up above. He's just been outscoring the bus, I think, and he has a better record. I think right now that division is the strongest division right now. I think that the bus's division is second strongest. But Russian Renegades is slowly dropping. I think he's just not. His team has injury issues. His guys aren't performing at the level they should be. And his team looked awesome at the start of the season until they started to play. And his team just hasn't been as good as it was expected to be, which is the problem sometimes with drafting so early. You think that you have this awesome team, but they don't perform quite as well as you'd hope. Benchwarmers has dropped down with a 4-6 record. Things aren't looking too good for him right now. He basically has to win next week if he even wants a chance at making the playoffs. If he loses this following week against myself, he is out of the playoffs. You cannot make the playoffs with a 6-7 record with the strength of this year. So right now he's on the way down. Anything Goes is still in 8th place. He has had a hard match or hard schedule, but he has a ton of points to put that up because of his keepers. Another team that's on the rise is SF Niners. I have to say that he's one of the most impressive managers this year in my eyes, along with Halababa. I think SF Niners, not only did he pretty much sell out and get all these picks, now he's making a push for the division title. I think that's the only way he's going to make the playoffs, and I think that's the way any of the guys in that East division are going to make the playoffs. It's only based on winning their division. But I still think the fact that he's making a push when we thought he was completely out of it is huge. Another team on the way down, Stone Cold. From the very get-go, he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to make the playoffs. This is going to be a revolution for Stone Cold. We're going to make it, and we're going to win." Well, now he is near the bottom, and it's partly because he traded RG3. He's made some bad moves. He looked like he had a decent team. He had some good receivers. He kept on putting the emphasis on D'Angelo Williams' back, and he's really not. And I kept on saying that. And I think right now he's at the bottom. I think that Beast Mode has a better team, and I think that I'm putting him above. So Stone Cold right now, nobody's going to be worse than Superchargers this season. He just doesn't have anything except for his keepers. Even Larry Fitz hasn't been performing at the level he should be. Looking at the playoff race, there's still 4 teams that are, I think, guaranteed to make the playoffs. The Bus, this upcoming week against Gridiron is going to be a huge week, because if he loses, he's 6-5. If he wins, there's a guaranteed chance that he's going to make it in my eyes. But if he loses this week, he's 6-5, and he's not that far out. So I mean, whoever loses that, I think that whoever wins that week, maybe it's not the Bus. If the Gridiron does pull it off, then I think that Gridiron is going to be the team that's going to guaranteed make it in. But I put the Bus right now, just to see what it's like. I think I voted for Gridiron to win the week anyways, so if I'm right about that, it'll actually be Gridiron instead of the Bus. There's 4 teams that are guaranteed out. You cannot win now with a 5-8 record. So basically, right now, I don't think. Actually, I forgot to those bottom 4 teams. I didn't update. Sorry about that. But yeah, so those teams are out. Basically, right now, there's basically 4 or 5 teams that are in the playoff race still. Blair Walsh, Gridiron, Anything Goes, myself, and Benchwarmers. I think with this upcoming week, with being a division matchup, some of these teams are going to be defined as either guaranteed to make it based on if they win, or for sure out. If I lose to Rob, there's a good chance I'm out. If Rob loses, he's guaranteed out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But there is still a pretty tight race right now. There's still 12 teams that could possibly be in it. So 4 teams that are out and 4 teams that are more so destined to make the playoffs.